Practice following some method, Dresden Block. The ability to use even the smallest pieces of fabric to create a balanced and eye-catching pattern makes this block a special choice for transforming into a cathedral window design. Judy and Breneman of Patterns from History tells us that the Dresden Plate block was named after ornate tableware from Dresden, Germany. The Dresden Plate quilt block was first published as a pattern in the 1930s. They are characterized by the traditional floral prints of the time and are often made from fit size. Now we're going to see how to enjoy it with the cathedral window technique. Templates. Download and print the templates. Download the PDF with the templates to your preferred device and then send it to your printer. You will find the link to do it. Check the template section to find all the info. In this case, you have 4 pages to print. Make sure you have them loaded into your printer. If you are going to use them directly for cutting and ironing, print them on cardstock. If you are going to make them in template plastic, print them on paper and then prepare them with plastic. Understand the info. Now that you have all the sheets printed, let's look at each one so you have a clear idea of all the information they contain. See the template section for more info. On the first one, you have a scheme that shows you the block and what units made it up. In this way, you can identify the units and keep them in order, knowing exactly their place in the block. On the right, you have the templates corresponding to Unit B left, the base of the unit and the templates, W1 and W2 for the folded pieces. To avoid confusion, the base templates of each unit have indication to correctly place the folded pieces. On the second sheet, you will find the templates for Unit B right and Unit A, the base and the folded pieces. On the third sheet, you will find the templates for Unit C right and Unit C left, the base and the folded pieces too. On the fourth sheet, you have the window templates. To cut without seam lines, you will use the numbers of each template when you make the project, and you can guide yourself with the scheme on the left. Making the templates. You already understand all the information on the sheets, so let's prepare the template. Check the templates section to learn how to do it. Pieces. Preparing the muslin. Check the cutting techniques section to learn how to prepare the fabric before cutting. Prepare the muslin so that it is straight and without the selvedge. Press well, maybe add a little starch to make it easier to stack several layers of fabric in one stack. Check that the edges are lined up and that you are not missing fabric in any of the layers. Cutting the pieces. Arrange the template over the stack of fabric and check that the grain line is aligned with the grain of the fabric. Place the ruler over the template, aligning it with the edge of each one. Cut carefully the bases and the folded pieces W1 and W2 for 2 units C, left and right, 2 units B, left and right, and 2 units A. Remember that in the cutting technique section you will find more instructions. Also, cut window number 1 time, number 2 times, and number 3 1 time. Organize the pieces. Keep all the pieces in order and place the template on top of each stack to know which piece it is. Units. To make this block, we're going to work with 5 units: A, B left and right, and C left and right. You've already got the pieces needed to build this unit, so let's get started. Choose one of the units to start. Look at the pile of pieces you have and take the basis of this unit. Take also the W2 and W1 that correspond to this unit. Start pressing the folded pieces following the fold line indicated on the template. Fold at one end and press to the other, being careful not to distort the bias of the fabric. When you have the two pieces folded, place them over the base in the way indicated by the template. You set these units aside and continue to work in the same way with all the remaining units. Always remember to keep the units in order and use the templates to identify them and place them over the stack of pieces. When you finish joining all the parts, prepare the sewing machine to sew the units. Take each unit carefully and place it under the presser foot. Align the border with a 1/4 of an inch mark or follow the sewing line on the template. Start sewing respecting this margin all the way around the units. Join the 3 pieces neatly. Be careful where the folded pieces meet. As you sew the units, keep them in order so you don't get confused. Use the template as labels by placing them on the stack of units that you are finishing. Block. When you have all the units done, start joining them together. Place the unit guided by the skein as if it were a puzzle. When you finish, organize the units into small groups as indicated in the figure. Now we are going to sew Unit A with Units B left and right. For this, we will use the Y-seam technique. You can consult the seam section for more information. Join Unit A with Unit B left at point C. Match the seams. Start sewing at 1/4 of an inch from the edge, backstitch a few times, and continue sewing until you reach the other point, 1/4 of an inch too. This is point C in the figure. Open the units and press the seam allowance down. Trim. Join Unit B right with Unit A and sew in the same way, leaving point C open. Press the seam open and trim. Join Unit C left and Unit C right at point B. Make the seam lines match up perfectly. Place the units under the presser foot and sew. Respect 1/4 of an inch of the seam and also when beginning and ending the stitch. Open the 2 units and press the unit. Trim the seam. Join Unit C left and Unit C right at point B. Make the seam lines match up perfectly. Place the units under the presser foot and sew. Respect 1/4 of an inch of the seam and also when beginning and ending the stitch. Open the 2 units and press the unit. Trim the seam. Join the 2 C units with the 2 B units and sew nesting the seam. Take care that all the seams are aligned. Press and trim. Repeat the whole process and make another sector equal to this one. Now join the 2 sectors, matching the seam. Take care when sewing the A units so they lay flat when pressed. Open the seam allowance and press, trim the seam, and you have finished the block. Application. Window templates. Cutting. Prepare the templates and cut the pieces of fabric. Remember that you don't have the seam allowance for the windows. The edges are wrapped in the frame when applying. Place the fabric inside the window frame and secure it with a pin. Fold the fabric of the frame over the edge of the window fabric. Straighten to form the window frame. You can sew it by machine or by hand. Now, check the Applying the Window section for step-by-step instructions. Get ready for the project. To analyze the practice, you can use the table Practice with Muslin that you will find in the Resources section. Take note of each aspect, whether or not you achieved your goal, the level of difficulty you experienced, and the time it took to do it. Analyze the process and see if you need more practice. Take note of the points where you have struggled and consider what changes you could make to overcome them. With all the information you have, you can now complete the time management table for your project. check the resources section for more information. Read the tutorial instructions carefully and identify the different stages. Visualize each task based on your practice with muslin experience. Assign schedule according to your daily routine and start little by little, gradually incorporating these new activities. Choose the duration of each task so that you can perform it and according to your experience in practice. If it takes you an hour to complete the block, for example, don't give the task a half an hour duration. Take into account the stages that you have found difficult in practice. Consider repeating the practice before starting the project. If not, keep this in mind and pay more attention when doing the task. Now, go to the project section and let's get started.